What do we got here?
I have a first edition Mark Twain that I'd like you to look at.
Okay, a Yankee in King Arthur's Court. So have you ever read it?
No, I haven't read this one.
All right. Have you ever seen any of the movies?
No, never seen any of the movies. I came down to the pawn shop today to sell my first edition Mark Twain, A Yankee in King Arthur's Court. My dad gave it to me about a year ago. The book's 125 years old. It seems cool. I mean, the story sounds interesting. I think my dad will be okay if I sell it today.
Have you ever read any Mark Twain?
Yeah, I read Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer, both those in English class.
Did you like them?
I did, yeah. But I've heard that those books weren't originally intended for children.
I don't think they were either. My 10-year-old son just had to read Tom Sawyer, and it was tough reading for him because the vernacular had changed so much over the years.
I can imagine.
Mark Twain is born in Nevada. Did you know that?
I did not. I would have thought he was a Southerner from the books that he wrote.
Yeah, Samuel Clemens was born in Missouri. But when he was in Virginia City, Nevada, that's when he started taking up the pen name Mark Twain. So here in Nevada, we can say Mark Twain was born in Nevada. I think it's really, really cool. The amazing thing is it's a first edition. You don't see a lot of first edition Mark Twains. The book is about a guy named Hank, I think, and he was an engineer at a munitions factory. He gets hit in the head and he wakes up in medieval England. It's a true classic, and if it's a real first edition, there is money to be made here. So where did you get this?
My dad bought it at a antique bookstore about 25 years ago.
Okay. Did he pay a lot for it?
He says he never paid more than $50 for a first edition.
And you're positive it's a first edition?
I think so. I've done a little bit of research, and there's only one copyright date on it, so it looks like it's a first edition to me, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Just so you know, books usually just have one copyright date.
Okay.
If a book is made in 1889, they might make a whole run of them, and then they sell out, and 2 months later, they got to come out with a second edition. So it's all be in the same year. So what did you want to do with it?
I'm looking to sell it.
Okay, and how much do you want for it?
I'd like $1,500.
Okay, if it's a first edition, it's pretty cool. Some first edition Mark Twains can go for a lot of money. This particular one, I don't know.
Okay.
I have a friend, and she is the ultimate book nerd. She'll figure out if it's first edition, she'll figure out the condition, and she should be able to give us a price.
Okay.
All right, let me give her a call. I'll be right back. Hang out, okay?
I don't really know the value, and mine was kind of a guess, so I hope she says it's worth more than what I'm asking for.
Could you maybe not make that sound when I approach?
She's pregnant.
I could tell. I could tell. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm glad Rick is here to state the obvious. It's important.
All right, we have Mark Twain.
We do. All right. One of the things that's interesting about Twain with this book, he's a satirical writer and a humorous writer. And he was actually reading about King Arthur. And he started thinking, can you imagine what it would be like? How do you blow your nose if you're in full armor? And he starts thinking about all those practicalities that get taken out of the romanticized versions to show how silly culture can be. Twain was a humorist at heart, but he actually has a big variety. Connecticut Yankee is rather science fiction, whereas Huck Finn and Tom Sawyer are more young adult. And then you actually have travel essays that he was really famous for before that. And what are your concerns?
Well, first off, it's in a little rough shape.
Uh-huh.
And is it a first edition and what's it worth?
Right, okay. It's actually pretty complex because there were a lot of copies that were being run off, and it was a really disorganized system, this particular publisher. And a good example, let me show you, there's an illustration in here that will show that pretty well. Okay, so you have this caption here, it just says "The King," right? In an earlier state of this, they actually had this little scroll decoration in between the two words, and it obscured them a little bit. So what happened is, as they're kind of doing quality control, they come in and they burnish that away. So you know that the earliest state actually has this sort of problematic caption, and the later states are clean like this. That means that this particular page was printed later in the run than other copies. All right? And that does matter for a collector. You want the earliest date possible, right?
The most complicated collecting ever.
But that's the fun of it. Another thing, on page 72, this book is notorious for, while it was being printed, individual letters and things started kind of falling off, and the type gets dropped, and as a result, in later copies, what you see is sort of spaces right around in this area. And this is actually clean, which means this particular page was printed early in the run.
So that's good?
That is good. So this book has been mixed together with early printed pages and later printed pages.
Okay.
We call that a mixed state.
But how did the early ones and the late ones get in this one?
Accident. It's because they're not just using one press, so it's not all in order. They've got a bunch of different presses going at the same time, and then they just grab sheets from all of them, put them together haphazardly, and if you're lucky as a collector, you have sheets that are all the earliest sheets. That being said, it is still a first edition. So given what state it is and the condition that it's in, I would price it retail $1,200 to $1,300.
Did I tell you she knew everything there is in the world about books?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're the best.
Glad to be of help. If this were just the ideal copy in every way, the earliest state, beautiful condition, you're looking at a few $1,000s more than what I appraised this book at.
I'm tired.
So, what do you want for it?
Well, I started at 15. She says it's worth 13. I trust you. If you're interested in it, just give me a fair price.
I'd give you $700 for it.
Can't do a little bit more?
Oh, really? I just heard, if you trust me, just give me a good price and I'll take it. Yeah, no, I can't. $700.
Not even 800? So I
No,
can...
no, that is a fair price to me. You wanted a fair price. That's what I'm willing to pay.
Well, if 700 is really your best price, then we can do it.
Okay, $700. All right, meet you right up front and I'll write you up.
I feel okay about the deal today. I really wanted 800, but I'd like to see the book go to a happy home, a good collector.